Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. This is the final webinar of the year. We've done 3 webinars now in the last 3 weeks or a month or so. And the last one was on SFTP and how to set up RecXpress and EFT with the SFTP. This is not going to show you much about SFTP at all. This is going to show you in general all the different formats we can import, how we import, what we do with what formats, if you want to add your own, if you want to do different ones, and also a few other little features that we have. So I'm going to go through basically all the different steps, all the different things. You can interrupt me at any point. I don't mind. I like interaction. I like a quick question of what we're doing, how we're doing it. But really, this is just to give you an overview. Well, I say overview. You should know RecXpress when you're in this demo and in this training, because I'm not going to go into great depths of how RecXpress itself works. I'm just going to show you what we've added to it and the features and how to make it as easy as possible for your clients, and how we've done certain things in certain ways. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go quite quickly. So it's might be less than an hour. I don't want to waste too much time. So let's go to the first slide, which obviously is RecXpress. Okay. So the first slide is just to say to you there's multiple ways of bringing in your bank statement to RecXpress. I'm going to switch off my camera so I can actually don't have to worry. Okay, so there are multiple ways of bringing in your RecXpress. Please make sure you're all on mute. Okay, and we've now included 1 or 2 new ones. Okay, you all know the import one, which is you give us a file, we import. Then we've added now a local import, which is a separate way of doing an import, which means you don't actually put the file name in. We've also added SFTP, which is where the bank sends you the file itself, which you just ask your bank to set up the SFTP with you and then upload the bank format. I mean, the bank statement for you every night. You can actually tell them to upload it any time you want. So that's also quite nice. Some people want their bank statement every 20 minutes. That's a nice feature. And then finally, we've also got the bank feed to work with Sage 300. And we're busy integrating that for PU1, where you actually can link to your different banks just using the Sage 300 bank feeds. We've got a couple of questions on that still with Sage, and we're trying to tighten that up for you. Okay, so the first way of doing your import is your normal import. Now, you all know this one. You give us the file, we lay it out for you, and then you download the file yourself and you import it. That's a pretty standard import functionality that's been with RecXpress for the last 10 years and is used widely with over 250 different formats. And that imports it for each particular bank the way you want to do it. Now, you all know that pretty much works. That's still available in the new RecXpress. Okay, the second one now is what we call the local import, which is where you would put the file yourself in a local path, and you can then tell, all the operator does is they go in and they do a fetch statement. And the fetch statement will then go and fetch what you've put in the local path. Can be the same format that you would be importing. So it could be this particular file, for example. And you'll see that we actually set that up, I'll show you in a minute, from one of the choices in the SFTP tab. Okay, so this just stops the user having to know where the file is. So therefore, the main person of the business would then download the file for the user, put the file there, which is how demo is actually being set up to do that. Okay, and then they hit the fetch and it goes and fetches a statement from that particular path. Therefore, the user never has to know what path they need to put in. Okay. The third way is the SFTP, which we explained in our previous webinar, where the bank will send the actual file to the SFTP folder, and you will then run your functionality the same as the local. It will just do a fetch and bring in the statements into the temporary file, which I'll explain to you in a few minutes how that works. Okay, and then finally, well, like I said, we've got the bank feeds to work. We're just finalizing how to do it more tight and more integration in Cash and into RecXpress. But you can see there, you've got your ABSA, FNB Standard, and Nedbank, and Capitec. We've also got a few other banks you can go by trying to search for your bank at the bottom. Okay, I could try and run it live. Let me just see if I do that for you just for fun, because it is fun. I mean, let's be honest, we like to have a bit of fun in our demos. So let me first shrink the screen. Okay, so I've got to actually just shrink the screen, which is the problem when you're running Teams. Okay, so just give me a second here. Okay, can't really do, how do I stop this. I have to actually stop the demo running, which is a problem. So, okay, I'm not going to do it now because I have to actually stop the demo running and then go to that particular server of mine and run the actual connection. So I'm not going to do that just yet, but I will do it for you at the end and show you how to do it, and I can stop the demo running. Okay, now the beautiful thing about their bank feeds, I must be honest with you, is the bank feed, you just log into your bank and that give you a selection of all the accounts on your profile. And you can then choose which one to use for your profile. And some of them also even includes the visa as well, which is quite useful. Okay, right. So you can also create your own format, which has got nothing to do with any of the bank feeds, any of the other formats. Now, what I did was I had to create my own formats for one or two of my own accounts, like my bond account and one or two other accounts. And as you can see, it's a very basic format, this one. Date amount, reference, and transaction code. And you can see you don't even need transaction code. I've got bank amount, date amount, and reference only. And you can see that by the format, very simple to create yourselves. And then you can also import that as one of your bank statements. So what we're actually saying to you is there's multiple ways of bringing in your bank statement into RecXpress. I think we've covered just about every single way of doing it. So really you can explore those further and look at them yourself with your client. Maybe they want to create a visa import, they want to create a bond import or a call account, and you can then obviously use this format yourself, create them for the client, or they can create it and then import the bank statement themselves. Okay. And this is basically a screen. Okay. I'm going to actually ask Rita to show a screen in a minute. And what we do here is this is how we've created these formats ourselves. And you can see from the technicality here, it's a bit technical, but this is a useful screen if you want to change the date format that's being imported. This is one of our open quotes secrets, close quotes. And in there, you can see on the right-hand side, we've got a date format that's YY, whatever, whatever. Now, that format you might want to change because of the format you're bringing in, and it didn't quite match the format that we've created for you. So, Karita, can you just show your screen quickly and just show them how to get to it? Okay. Now, listen, if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to interrupt because, as I say, I'm going quickly and it's quite technical sometimes. So you might want to say, how do I get there? How don't I get there, etc.
Okay, so you'll just select the format that you're using, and in the format name column, there's a drill down button. So you just select that and it will take you to the format. So we haven't opened up all the fields. I think we're going to look at doing that more and more so that maybe you can change your reference offset. That would probably be one of the only other ones you would change. But here, a lot of people, the date will come in with the year, you know, rather month, day, year. So instead of creating a whole new format, it's easier to allow the user to come here and change it here to, you know, DDYYYY. And if it had, you know, slashes or dashes or whatever, you could do that and you would change the length. And then just
easy
save.
enough. Correct.
Yes.
You can see, yeah, you can see the screen's pretty intense. I mean, for example, I had to import my call account, and if you look at the top on the left here, in the general options, we don't allow that editing of the headers to skip, but we will be bringing it in newer versions more and more of the screen. And I had to skip the first 4 lines, and therefore, because the first 4 lines had like the date, the statement number, and statement descriptions, and then the actual import started only on the 4th line. So there, for example, I said skip three headers. So this is pretty flexible and allows just about every single format that's available being downloaded from the internet. Okay, from your bank feed. I mean, from your bank online banking. Okay, but like Rita said, this is the main one that we normally change. There is even, we're going to allow you to add your own format soon as well in the new coming versions, and you can see there's a new button at the bottom here. We'll enable that soon, and then you can actually insert your own bank format number and add it to all the formats we've already made. Again, it's pretty much how we do our own formats. Okay, you probably would want your own training on this, so get hold of us if you need to start wondering or doing something. You can ask us questions, and we're quite happy to tell you what to do in here. Okay, thanks, Karita. Is that the end of your screen?
Thank you.
Go back to my screen. So I have to.
Okay.
Challenge. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's now editing your own formats or existing formats that are already available in RecXpress. Right. Okay. Okay, this is now what we, okay, one of the features of RecXpress, and this is really a generalized quick comment, is that you don't have to have any entries entered into Cashbook. So what's happening is you can, for example, start a brand new bank and bring everything in from the bank and have an absolutely empty Cashbook, and then you can create your own, obviously they'll all be no matched, okay? Then you create all the rules you want to create, and then you can just post that recon with all the new rules, with all the GL accounts entered yourself, adding rules, etc. I'll show you how to add rules on the fly, and the whole Cashbook itself can be created from the bank statement. I've added this as a feature just to mention to you. So, you know, for example, I've got clients or companies that they do their current accounts, you know, they do their normal AP payments and all the other stuff in their current account, but they might have an account that is like the call account, and the call account they don't actually enter anything themselves, because the call account transactions are all generated by the bank. For example, transfers from one account to the other, bank charges, etc., interest, etc. And what I do is, in this case, I import the whole statement fresh every month, and I let it create all the transactions by myself. Sorry, please put on mute. Okay, and I make sure that all the transactions are allocated correctly. There's only a few rules I needed to create in the call account, and I bring in the whole call account at once, post it, create the batch, post it, and that's done and dusted. And there's no entries required by anyone. And that really is a very useful way of using RecXpress. I don't only do my call account, we also do, like, for example, my Visa account, etc., etc. And I let the bank create all the transactions for me. And that's what I meant by using RecXpress without any entries. Okay, and you can see this is a very basic system, you know, no match, and they're all there for you. Okay. Right. Okay, so what happens is, if you're going to use SFTP or the local feature, okay, now I'm just going to go back quickly to this screen here. If you look here, we had location, we have SFTP with key file. One of the requirements here would have been local, and local just asks you for a path, no keys, nothing, just a straightforward path. But we haven't got a screen. I can actually maybe go just now and show you if I need to, or you want to see it. But really, local allows you to put the file where you want to put it. Okay, now in this case, we'll show you how the multiple match runs. In this case, you can see we've got an FTI in, and we've got a huge number of files that are sent to us from the bank. We've also put some of our own files in here, like AppSMA, call account, etc., and they've all gone in here. Okay, what happens is it will then retrieve, when you hit the fetch statement, it actually retrieves the statements into the view. And then when you're ready, you can actually look at this at any time. You know, these can be daily, weekly, monthly. And when you want to do your particular month, you will then select a previous statement date and a process until date. And for example, if you want to now we're now at the end of November tomorrow. So you might want to say to it, okay, I only want to retrieve from the 1st of November to the 30th. You'll then put in your from and to dates, and it'll then retrieve those transactions into Cashbook, into RecXpress only. You then do your RecXpress, do your month end, and of course this might not be on the 1st of the new month, it might only be the 7th of the new month. And that's why we have what we call a temporary workspace, and it keeps all of the records you don't need until you need them. Okay, it also shows you all the statements it's retrieved and all, etc. So this is now the new feature using SFTP, local retrieve, etc., is that you can be retrieving files throughout the new month and only process the month you want to process. Okay, this is actually very important, because let's be honest, we don't close our Cashbook until the 2nd week of the month, of the new month, but we don't want November, for example, if we're doing December now, if we're doing November and we're in December, we don't want December to come into our RecXpress yet. We only want November. And the reason we're doing that often is because the bank statement's not the latest statement. We're waiting for processing still to be done, waiting for other transactions to be completed, maybe invoicings to, like the last few payments to be done on the invoicing, etc. And therefore, the temporary file now keeps your statement information until you're ready to actually do your RecXpress. Okay, and this is a very critical feature of the new RecXpress program. So you'd retrieve the information into your RecXpress and then proceed as normal. Okay. 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 Oh, this is generating again. This is the slide, just adding a bit more information of creating the batches when you generate all the information yourself. So I'm going to leave that slide. You can put that slide 1 or 2 back, Natalie, for the next time. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. When you bring your statement in, you're obviously going to have rules set up, and those rules will be created when you create the template. Okay. So when you create the template, okay, it creates rules for all the different transactions for each different type of transaction code. You also want to add your own rules. So what we've done to make it easier, and I think you have heard of this before, I am going to go and try and do it live. Okay, and what is, you can actually add the rule on the fly. So what you do is you'll go and change the actual, I'm going to actually do this live. So let me just do this for a second. Let me go for it and do it live for you because I think that's critical.
Okay, do you want me to import the statement for that? Or, okay, you will go ahead and do it. Cool.
No, I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to just do it for them. So let me just go in and do it for you. Okay, you'll just tell me which one to import. Okay.
Great.
So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use multiple here. I'm going to use the RecX itself. So which bank do you want me to import into, Nat?
CTAC.
For the live, CTAC. Okay, so let me just give you an idea. This is our new multiple RecXpress grid. And what it does here is you can see all your banks. And when you, so instead of going into RecXpress individually, you can go into each one when you need to, all together or one at a time. So in this case, I'm going to go into CTAC only and do all the retrievals myself only. So I click on that and it opens CTAC for me. Okay, I then go and fetch my statement. Okay, as I explained earlier, okay, this statement's sitting here in a different folder here. You can see the folder in the background. I'll then fetch it. It fetches it, brings it into my temporary file. Okay. Goes in automatically. Okay, retrieves all the entries. Okay. I can then say retrieve from a certain date until a certain date. Now, you might not know what date you want to do, so you can look at your statement before you retrieve it in the view. And you'll see, yeah, it's got from the 10th of the 15th, or from the 15th of the 10th, all the way until the 30th of the 11th. So if I wanted to, I can retrieve only one part of this. I need to retrieve them all, hey Natalie?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to actually even put in a date range. I don't have to. I could, if you look here, I could put in the date range there, like this. Okay, so I want to go, I put 1 day before because it goes from the 15th. And that was your previous statement. So it's 1 day after I'll retrieve. And when I say fetch, it will then fetch the statement itself and ask me, do you want to retrieve from the 15th? Remember, that's a previous statement until the 30th. I'm not going to want to do that. I want to show you another way of doing it, which is even more practical. I can just do a view of the statement and hit fetch statement. This will retrieve the whole statement that I'm viewing. So it's also another way of retrieving. So I'm just going to do it that way for fun. Okay, so hit the button and off it goes. Now it retrieves every single entry that I've got in that particular statement only. Okay. And you can see it's retrieved them. All 47 entries are now retrieved and in the RecXpress itself. So when I go to RecX, I go to my RecXpress import grid, as you well know, they're all my entries, nicely retrieved. Okay. I'll just show you something while I'm here. I want to now create a RecXpress, a rule on the fly. So which rule do you want me to look at, Natalie? I go to no match. I mean, which entry must I look at?
Sorry, so you can go to category other, and it's the OT134 entries.
Okay, so category other, and I've got all of these. Now these are all unmatched, as you can see, from that one all the way to this one. So what I do is I change the category. But before I do this, let me give you some advice. Change everything you want to add to the rule first. So for example, okay, I want to add an account. Okay, so add the account first before. I don't know if it's got a Forex in here. Okay. Let me see. I don't know what we've got here. We don't have, oops, sorry. You don't have, obviously you'll have your own account set up. I can see, for example, we don't have a Forex account. Natalie, there you can add a Forex account, please.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's just say we'll call it, we'll go petty cash for something. Have a Forex account, yeah. You have a bank charges account. I'm just looking. Okay. Let's go deposits received because there are going to be deposits. Okay, if I change the account, I select the account. I'd also change any other information I want here as well. Once I've done all the default information I want, then I go and change the category. Okay, I'm going to change the category to Forex. Okay, and then it says, right, you want to change the category from other to Forex. I say yes. It then adds it to the Forex. Do you want to edit this Forex? So what's happened now? It's added the rule to the Forex in the defaults. Okay, I can then edit the rule and change the like command, because if you look here, I don't want the full number in this like command. I only want the word OT, or in this case, Natalie thought OT1, but I don't even want the one. I just want the OT. So what I do is I change the like. That. Okay, it's not kept all the defaults I've already entered. Can you see that? Okay, and that's why you do this last. Okay, save it, close, and it takes out the entry. Now, I've got a rule set up for the OT, and I just hit refresh, and it will remove all the other ones with the same matching, like this. Right. And they're all now gone to Forex. Or in this case, it was money received, or whatever it was I called it. Okay, so now if I go to Forex here, see, there are all the entries, nicely put away with the correct GL accounts. And that's how you add a rule on the fly. You can see this is a very nice way of doing it, very quick and very easy. Okay, cool. Right, that's adding a rule on the fly. Okay, now I want to show you something else while I'm here. I'm in RecXpress, okay, and when I open it, the screen's too big. Now, I know this sounds a bit silly, but this is a very simple little thing I often notice. If I close it again, you'll watch, it comes back to that and remembers it was full screen. Now the client sits there, oh, how do I get rid of the full screen? Just a quick little tip. Minimize it to here. It puts it, hopefully I can see it here. There, close it, open it again, and it puts it back to the normal screen. Now that is a very quick way of making it more user-friendly. Okay, that's a little tip I can give you. Okay, cool. Now that's how you add entries on the fly. Okay, and you can import them separately as well. I'll come back to the multiple in a minute and show you how it works across all the other banks. Okay, great. Back to our screen. Okay, good. Okay, so adding rules on the fly, very simple. Great. Okay, I've also done the refresh. As you can see, it shows it you nicely in this demo, and you can do the refresh as well using the same sample data. Will be uploaded, Natalie. Maybe call you Karita again.
Yes.
It will be. Okay, cool. Okay, and then you can see exactly what I've done in this particular demo and added a training and add it to your demo if you need to show the client. Okay, what we're also adding, and this is only going to be in PU1, it's not in PU in this current version, is you are going to be able to leave your transaction code blank. And what will happen there is it will look for the like command first and not dependent on the transaction code. Because often you might have a like command that says look for the word courtyard, but the actual transaction code is not reliant on what it's looking for. So this is a new feature we've added, and we're looking at doing this in the coming PU that we will be releasing, or hotfix, which will be released probably in the next week or so before Christmas. Okay, this is really quite useful because often we have transaction codes that change, but the actual transaction description does not change, and you want it to apply across different descriptions. Okay, cool. Okay, so I did do the minimizing of the RecXpress screen in the live demo. Okay, so now we get to the, I think we're at the last slides, hey, Natalie? That was a very quick RecXpress, which will give me time to show the bank feeds and take questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so
definitely.
let me quickly show you.
There's
the
about 3 more
multiple-
slides left. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the multiple match is our new screen we've created, okay? And what we allowed here is we allow you to look across multiple entries at the same, multiple banks at the same time. What I did this for was to speed up the actual, sorry, can you just hold on a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what we do here is, okay, we thought going into each bank one at a time is time consuming, and also you might forget a few steps. So what we decided to do was we actually had this before, where but people never really knew about it. But this time we're making it much more visible and much more user friendly. So what we do here is we list all the banks for you, all the banks a client has, okay, and then they can select each bank individually and go in and do their retrieve of statement, for example, all automatically, all at once. And then they can also do their run dates. So for example, here's we got the 10th, the 15th, 11th, 15th. So what will happen is it will then retrieve from the fetch into the bank recon itself. Again, this might only be for 1 month. Okay. And then lastly, you can then do your renumber, your batch. You can open each one, make sure there are no more others. And then you can create the renumber, your batch list, and post all together. Okay, so I'm going to run it now for you, and it's going to import. I think there's 9 left now because I've already done one of them. Okay. And what you can tell it to do, by the way, is you can say, just bring it in to the temporary file. Don't bring it into the month end yet. Now, why we did that as well is for the middle of the month, I want people to retrieve my transactions, but I only want to do a month end at the end of the month, but I still want to retrieve the entries daily. Actually, what I do as well is I actually retrieve them daily, and then I've created a few reports of my own to look at those statements and give the operators or the people that wanted relevant information during the month of certain transactions only. Okay. For example, our software assurance, we get it daily, and then we print a report for all the software assurance we get, and then at the end of the month, we do the complete month at one time. Okay, so I'm going to import retrieve here. Okay, and it imports them all together. Now it's going to take a few minutes. So while it's doing that, you'll see it goes to each one and retrieves all the entries for that particular bank, etc. Okay, it retrieves all the entries all together. As you can see in the background, the files are being removed as it's coming into the cache point, into the RecXpresses. few more statements to retrieve. Now, this is really nice because imagine 50 banks. 50 banks. So you don't want to go into each bank and do a retrieve. This is where we're trying to just get the actual bank feeds to work a bit more, because at the moment, when you use the Sage 300 bank feed, you've got to go into each bank and do a retrieve. I'll show you live in a minute how it works to give you an idea. Okay. Cool. And you can see there. Cool. Okay. And you can see it's retrieved all the bank statements for me, multiple. Okay. Okay. I can then go into each of them if I want to individually. And I can then, I won't do it now because they've actually been set up correctly. I can hit the renumber. It will renumber everything together. You can see it's very nice. Okay. Right. Done all the renumbering. I'm now happy with that. I can now do the batch. And again, it will create all the batches for you automatically. Again, imagine doing 50. Creates the batch, and it creates the reconciled in error batches as well, if necessary. Okay. Okay. Cool. I've now got all my batches created. Now, if you look here, you've got ready to post flags are all on. Okay. It's an EFT batch waiting for the provisional posting.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay. Didn't need that there. Okay. Ready to post. Okay. Is all set. And you can say to it, set on the ready to post flag when you do create the batches. Okay. Okay. Then you can post a whole range of batches as normal. I've got this EFT batch sitting from our last demo. It's quite interesting, sitting there waiting for a retrieve file. I wonder if it found one, Natalie.
No, I haven't actually put the retrieve file back in the right place, but it's because it's from the same backup. Yeah.
So it'll ignore it. Okay, cool. You need to take that out for a RecXpress demo.
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Or just leave it off, but you can't. You can't. Cool. Still waiting for the response file. Okay. Right. 6 batches were posted. Posting sequence 4. That's the relevance here. Leave the EFT out of it at the moment. Okay. I've now posted all the transactions, all done automatically, all done together. Okay. And then now that I'm finished, I can then post RecXpress. It will now post everything, put them into the history file for you all together. Now, as you can imagine, this is literally taken us now. I'm looking at my timer here. We're flying through the demo here. We're only on 10:36, but that's taken us 2 minutes to do 10 banks. Okay. 2 minutes to do 10 banks. I mean, it would take 2 minutes at least per bank, which is 20 minutes. And my mathematics is correct.
I mean, if I can add, just going into the import screen individually per bank. I mean, that's about 2 minutes per bank
anyway
that you're already saving.
Yeah.
And to be able to open the banks directly from this multiple import screen is just it's total
great because
time
you can
saver.
do it in sequence. You see, hey, Natalie, you can do it in sequence, one at a time. Check, for example.
And you can to be able to see all the information that you want to see, like your balances. You don't have to open each one individually. You can see it all from this one screen, which is just, it's just amazing.
Look at that. See, all the CB balances and all the bank balances are now balanced instantly after the post. Very nice to show your clients this. I'm sure you've got clients who've got 20, 30 banks. And this is going to save them a lot of time. I know a lot. Saves me. I've only got 5, 6 banks. And it's saving me about an hour. And the other part I like about this is that you don't forget to post your records. You don't forget to read the number. It does them all. Okay.
Toshi just has his hand up. Toshi, you can unmute.
Okay, good morning.
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 Okay, this process now of this SFTP is only possible if the bank can provide the format of the file. In a situation that the bank cannot provide this file, that means this process will not be possible.
No, your bank has to. Okay, like I said, we've got 3 different ways of getting the file. The one is an import, which is what you're already doing. The second one is a local, which is taking the import file and copying it into a directory yourself. And the third one is the SFTP. Now, if the bank doesn't have an SFTP functionality, then no, you cannot use it. It has to do that. But you can simulate. You can put the file there yourself. Okay, so what I've got is like management might not want the operators to log into the bank and export it. They might want to do it themselves, the operations manager. They could then download the file themselves and copy it into a folder. And then at the end of the month or whenever they want, the person that's running RecX will just do a fetch. Okay, and it will fetch the statement. That is a simulation of an SFTP folder. Okay. The second way of doing it is to use the Sage 300 bank feeds themselves if they have your bank in the list. I haven't seen any African banks. I'm going to show you now the bank feed and just show you very briefly what it has on the lists. And I'm afraid that I didn't see any from the bank feeds. So yeah, if you don't have SFTP, the people can still simulate it. And I would recommend simulating it because when we do the a local, we actually check for duplicates and make sure nothing's duplicated, and we make sure the date range is correct. So again, if you want more information on this and you want to actually show us or get the client or whatever, just give us a shout. We'll quite happily show it to you again, privately if you want, and show you how to do it. So let's just repeat. If the bank doesn't do SFTP, you can simulate it by saying local, and then you can put the file into the folder yourselves. Okay. Now, the bank, formats. Yeah, go for it. How much does it cost? So I didn't get that. Sorry, I interrupted you again. Go for it again.
Okay, I'm asking because I'm calling from Nigeria. I know our bank here hardly provide this type of file. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So what you're saying is the banks do provide it. Now, what
cannot
you
provide.
can then, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Karita, have we got any Nigerian banks? I'm sure we do.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
We're just going to look at what Nigerian banks we already have, but all you do is give us the bank that you want to deal with, and they can provide to you the actual. I'm sure you've got online banking, and they will provide you the bank layout, and we'll do it for you. No problem.
Okay, fine.
Okay, I think we've got a few banks already from Nigeria, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, we do have. We've got Standard Chartered, Access Bank of Nigeria, Union Bank of Nigeria, Zenith Bank of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Are there any of those yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it, John. Are any of those you want? Don't know. Okay. Well, you'll let us know. And the other thing is we often provide what we call the MT940 format. And the MT940 format supported around the world. Okay, and most banks do export in that format as well. And the other one is the OFX format, which is also standardized around the world. So yeah, we cater for just about all the different banks, and we do cater for all the different formats. Okay.
I do see in the chat we have a question from Edmund, and they're asking for new bank take on balance. Can RecXpress do this function? I don't know.
No. Okay, hold on a second. So what you're saying is you want to bring in a balance that already is from a previous month and bring it forward. I would suggest, no, normally we just create a batch. And if you look at the, if you read our README, it tells you 3, 4, 5 steps, am I right? To actually bring in the take on balance. It's just really a one-liner. It's really one entry in a batch. It's just one entry of the balance brought forward. Okay, if you follow those steps in the README, it will tell you exactly how to do a take on balance. If you want to go back as far as possible, you can go back as long as you can get the bank statements. You can import months back. It's up to you, but I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, you've already done those. But really, the README tells you exactly how to do a take on balance. I wouldn't ask RecXpress to do that because it's just a one-liner. It's one entry in a batch. Okay. I can show you the README if you want. Okay, any more questions now?
No, that's it for now.
Okay, cool. Just one or two more features I wanted to just add to you. I'm going to see what comes after that. Okay, there's 2 more features I want to just add to you. I've shown you the multiple match. I've shown you how to do on the fly. I've shown you that we're going to leave it blank. I've shown you all the different imports available. You can add your own imports, all the stuff. The 2 other things that we do in RecXpress, which I don't know if you people are aware of, and one of them is called the multiple match. Multiple match allows you to create a multi-match entry, and the multi-match entries allows you to match one to many, one statement record to many cash book entries, many statement entries to many cash book entries, and many statement entries to one statement entry to many cash book entries, which is all the 3 different methods of matching. Okay, which is very nice as well. That's another feature we have. I don't know if people understand that well, but again, it's all available in our sample data. And then the second thing we allow you to do is if you bring in a bank statement and you wanted to actually create the correct exchange rates for the entries, what we do is we have to do this for Peresoft because we bring in software assurance from different countries, and we need to make sure that the exchange rate for that day is matched to the entry in the bank, because often the bank itself does not export that exchange rate. It's often just the actual amount. So for example, a dollar account will only bring in the dollar amount, but we need to go from dollar to rands. So what we allow you to do there is, what I would suggest is we actually create an import file of all the currencies if you want to import. So we import all these entries here. You can see on the left, this is the exchange rates.xls we've created. That brings in the month's exchange rates. And when you bring in the actual statement, automatically it looks in this currency table and will put the exchange rate for each day neatly in for your entries. Again, a feature that we use extensively, and I'm sure that you'd like to use as well for your CFC accounts or multi-currency accounts. Cool. Finally, okay, now I've got quite a lot of information here, a lot of stuff. So it's all available. It's going to be in the demo. It's going to be in the recording, and really it does a great coverage of RecXpress. And really, we're open to questions when you've done it again yourselves. You want to ask. And if you look, we've got 3 different webinars we've done now on the actual new RecXpress and EFT Express. And these links are available on these 3 different links here. And the first one was the actual release, which gave you a total overview of the EFT side as well as the RecX side. Okay, we're going to do an upcoming release and follow up with Sage Canada. This was going through all the different stuff that Richard Yang did. Am I right, Natalie?
No, so this is our previous webinars, but I got the link today to that Sage webinar, so I will include it in the slides.
Okay, cool. Okay. And then the last one is Mastering SFTP, which was an in-depth way of how to set up your SFTP with your bank, if necessary, using RecX or any other product you want to use, getting a key, getting two-factor authentication, etc. Okay. And that is the end of my session.
So we do have some questions from Cliff. He asks here, he says, are the Australian banks available? And also then, where do you find the exchange rates? So maybe Two-parter.
Okay, I looked everywhere to find exchange rates, and I'll be honest with you, Cliff, I couldn't find it on the web. So we actually I just get a template from. See, what happens is when we do our invoice, we obviously do our own web invoicing. We enter the exchange rate for each invoice, and what I do is I then export those exchange rates from the web into the Excel file, XLS file. But I have not found, and I'll be honest, I have not found anywhere on the web where I can export a range of exchange rates. So maybe somebody can help us there. Maybe somebody else knows where to find that. Okay, and actually export those exchange rates.
Would you maybe, Uncle Bobby, would you maybe use the Tyrox tool to import the exchange rates?
I don't know. I think so. I haven't used that myself, but maybe suggest that to Cliff, because that might be a good one. Or was that Cliff talking?
But it's Cliff talking. It's me, Cliff talking.
I've never known your
from
voice.
From sunny Adelaide.
That's a new one. I didn't know your voice. You're very South African still, Cliff. Funny joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, young. I love that. Okay. Yeah, no, maybe. There's what's the website? Is Murty on the call? Murty, you on the call?
She was here.
Yes,
earlier.
it's all under.
We use Oanda to get our exchange rates, eh? Do you want to quickly just put a link there in the chat, Murty? Just get the link and paste it into the chat. Okay, Cliff, I want to just show, because I know you were questioning about the actual bank feeds in Australia. And I don't know, obviously you've got it working, am I right?
Yeah, on some of the banks, we got bank feeds and that going for some clients, yeah.
And using the Sage 300 bank feeds?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly give you an overview, everybody else, of the bank feeds, just to show you what is available. And we're not using it in the multiple import, which is a pity because you've got to go into each bank separately at the moment. But hopefully in the future, we are talking to Sage this afternoon, and hopefully we can do a process and actually get it to do it automatically like I was showing you earlier. Okay, so for example, I'm going to go to an account and then hit the connect bank feed. It then does a little link and then lets me choose my bank. Now, obviously there's a step before this, which I've already done. Just ask you for your email address, etc. Now, if you look at South Africa, these are the standard banks it gives you. And when you click on a bank, it lets you sign in as a normal online banking feature. I'm not going to do that because I don't really want to go deep into this, but I'm just showing you. Oh my goodness me, look at that. It's crashed. Gosh, that's naughty, Sage. That's very naughty. It was working just on Friday, so they've tried to change something. What they've changed, I don't know. But that's not good news, I'll be honest with you. That's for Nedbank. Okay, so there you go. This is now for FNB, which is working. I can't go further than this, but this is the authorization code you get, and then you submit, and it'll let you log into your bank. Okay. Once you're in the bank, it lets you select which bank accounts you want to use for this particular bank itself. Okay. And then it will let you hit the get transactions, and it will then retrieve the entries. Now, let me just go back to this one form here. If you don't see your bank here, you should be able to select other banks. And you can see here is a list of all the banks they have. Okay, and these are quite a few. Even Woolworths, look at this, Woolworths, Truworths, Standard Bank, obviously, Snap and Save. I'm just looking here for Discovery Bank. Diners Club, no, so it doesn't really have Discovery, for example. Okay, cool. Any questions at this point?
There are none in the chat.
We've done this before. I'm just playing around, guys. I haven't got an African bank myself. It goes. There we go. So you just log in here, username, PIN, and password, and you should be able to see all your bank from Africa Bank. Once it's linked, it then lets you transfer the transactions into the temporary file in Cashbook and RecXpress, and then use those transactions there. Very useful. I think this will be great if we can streamline it and have it processed via that multiple import. Great. That's the end of my demo. Any more questions? No more questions. Any feedback, any information that you'd like to share with me? This is your chance. You get one chance in life. Okay,
Quiet.
we've pretty much covered as much. Sorry, very quiet. That's fine. People are trying to absorb everything we've said here. Okay, we've pretty much covered just about everything with RecXpress. Natalie will upload the exact sample data I've been using here onto the website and everything. You obviously can't do the SFTP, the EFT, because the EFT section you have to have your own SFTP link to the bank. But it's quite an interesting question I saw was on the Sage Eco system in the Eco WhatsApp, and one was, where can we do payments from AP? Okay, and our new EFT is quite good at doing that now, where you can actually upload and get the bank to fetch your payments automatically. So you should look at that, consider that next time if you want to do payments from EFT. Okay, so it will upload the statement and then automatically fetch it for you and post it onto your bank account, and then give you the batch back, which you can then post in Cashbook, and obviously get any of the ones that did not go through will then be put in error back. But that is our new SFTP system, is a payment system like that. Okay, yes, Natalie.
Cliff has two more questions. He says, do we need to purchase extra modules, and is this available in the web screens?
Yes. No and yes. There's no extra module. You obviously have to have RecXpress, and you obviously have to have EFT Express, but we have not expecting you to buy anything else. You don't have to get a premium version or an EFT direct version. That comes standard with the versions we have already available. Okay, the formatting, by the way, as was asked earlier, and that is, we normally, if you're going to do an SFTP upload from the bank, for it to do it automatically, we cover those actual formats ourselves. The bank says what format you want to use when we want to upload the statement, and then they will give you like MT940, which is the standard that people use all around the world, which we normally are already doing. So you wouldn't have to worry about, is the format compatible with RecXpress. Also with the bank feed, again, there will be no formats required, because we will make sure that the format that the bank feed gives us will be compatible with RecXpress itself as well. That's also quite useful to know. Okay, and the other question was, is it available on the web screens? Absolutely, identical to the on-premise. The reason I showed on-premise is because most people actually are using on-premise. It's probably more popular still, but the web screens are taking off. And we've got a few hundred now on web screen, so it will be exactly the same on the web screen, same features, same way, same everything. Cool. Anything else? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Have a good Christmas and a nice break, and we'll be chatting in the new year with anything new. Please don't hesitate to ask questions on our forums, or you can drop in, if you want links to any of the webinars, you can't get to them, drop Natalie an email. She'll point you to the right places if necessary, help you with the sample data. As you well know, Natalie's a star. We'll look after you and make sure everything's working. Hey, Natalie, anything you want to add? Yeah, and
no.
as a keyword there as well for documentation, hey, Nat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can send Azza, help me with this. Why have haven't you got this in the help? As
Yeah, definitely you can do that.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're pretty covered. I think that's the end of it. Exactly.
Thank
How
you
many
very
people on the
much.
webinar, just out of interest?
We had about
20.
27, which includes us. So I think
Okay, so
it was
25,
lovely.
24.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, I must say, a lot of interest in the new product. A lot of people, I know we had a lot of people on the Sage webinar. I think we had over 100 Sage webinars. So Sage 300 is definitely doing very well out there and getting better. And Sage is getting better with it as well. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful day.